Hello everyone, this is Gorax. In today's video, I'll give you an update on my Continental Challenge leaderboard on week 2, where we had an available 4 bosses to try, and I'll show you how I did compared to biggest whales on my server. If you've been following me on Twitch during my live streams, you've noticed that the past 2 weeks I was exclusively testing these Chief Challenge bosses, nothing else really. What I wanted to do is a team that can work for you and a team that can work for me, and this is why I tested over 10 formations for each boss, with some bosses even at 15 formations. This gives me an idea how to improve the teams that I have and what to use, because even though I come up with a team, I still adjust it because I have a limited hero pool on my global account compared to the test server. So there's 2 more bosses that you haven't seen, Ashton and Losenia. They are in progress, but all other you can see on my YouTube channel, and it's a good watch because it gives you an idea about free-to-play, pay-to-win teams and how to adjust. And yeah, there are chapters so you can easily go through them, and I highly recommend it. Now, the teams that I ended up using are these 4 that follows. So this week I decided to go for Journ, Alton, Talwer, and Irzillas. And next week I'll need to add 1 more, and that's going to be Ashton. I think Losenia is the hardest one to go with, 22 million and above. So the reason I went for them is I tried different bosses and I went for the total points accumulation instead of spreading and getting highest damage in 1 or 2 bosses. So this is why I moved Jillian, who was first in Alton team. And the Alton team was doing 55 million damage, and I thought this is the highest I can get. And my Journ team was struggling with 22, so I put Jillian in the Journ team to boost the damage by 4 million. And then I added Voresh to the Alton team, and it got me to 50 million. Overall, the damage done was lower, but the points were higher because the difference between 55 million and 50 million previously was lower than barely 22 to 26 million. Now, I obviously tried more and I put Quarion in, and this changed the result. 68 million on the first try. That's even without the variance. I couldn't run it because I saved it, but next week I'll work on it and see what the variance is. So first things first, let's talk about the first team, which is my main team, Ice Blast team that I used. In the Chief Challenge, we're aiming for the highest damage dealt. When it comes to Otherworld Exploration, we'll split these teams to get only 22 million, to get as many teams to 22 million as possible to get the most experience. But for the time being, let's focus on the Chief Challenge. So the first team I saved is my Alton team. Sadly, I can't go to Alton right now and show you what I've done, but luckily, we can look here through the stats and I'll show you the formation as well. So this is the formation and the team I used with the timings. Let's go over the timings before we go over the equipment. So as you can see, I set up a timing on almost everyone, and we're going to use 23.5 seconds first skill cast on Gary's ultimate to give us a shield going over and absorbing as much as possible, with 18 seconds skilling cast interval to cover Alton's rotation. And then Quarion will cast a skill before, so when Garyus's heal comes in, will be topped up or have at least as much HP as possible. This will guarantee a bigger overheal, which then transitions into a bigger shield, so we can absorb more damage. And again, 18 seconds, despite Quarion having a low cooldown, we're still going for 18 seconds in that rotation. What's also good about Quarion, similar to Jillian, he gives defense up. He gives defense up 1, Jillian gives defense up 2, which is a little bit better, but overall, seems like Quarion did the job better at keeping our team alive, at least the squishes, than Jillian. So very happy with that. I was skeptic about leveling up a rare hero when I have access to Mithracy and others. I decided to go for Quarion instead of Mithracy, and it paid off. Next week, maybe I'll try Mithracy as well. We'll see. Now, the damage rotation is only only really matters on the first rotation. So we're looking at initial recharge time, which is as follows. So our debuffer, Sheena, we use her to apply, which is remain. Then we follow with Bladden, as you can see, looking at the initial recharge time here, which grants 20% attack and gives 2 ice crystals to Garfin, who, despite having this at 10 seconds, we're gonna just wait on the first rotation for 11,6999. I don't know why the game does it, but I've put it at 11.7. So yeah, and then we got her on default, right? She can cast it whenever, because we'll be losing too much time. Now, when it comes to them and their skill casting interval, we're looking at the highest complete recharge time, which in our case is 19.3, and the game again does 19.29. Don't know why, but this is what they've done, right? And let's go over the equipment. We will start with Garius, who's basically making this team work. If you have Philosia, good luck. You can replace Quarion and you'll do even better. But with Garius, we have a heal and we have a shield. A shield comes from his artifact. If you haven't seen that enough in my YouTube channel, there's another one. Look at this, 100% of our heal is converted into shield. This is why we cast Quarion's ultimate, cast before Garius, so our team has the highest HP possible, and then we top it up with this shield. And he's the one absorbing damage from the teammates as well. We really needed to keep our squishies alive. We focus on defense percentage on our primary stats, and then HP percentage on the substats with defense percentage, where HP percentage is when defense percentage as main stat is not available, which is weapons and our helmet. Runes, we could go for defensive runes as well. As you can see, defense percentage, mostly skill haste doesn't really matter, because as long as you have this staff, you will be at an 18-second rotation. If you don't have the staff, then obviously your total damage will be lower, because you won't be able to survive that much. And then you need to work on haste to still be below 18 seconds. That's important, having this 18-second, which is the rotation of the boss, so you always cast it at the same time. Now, second healer is obviously Quarion. As you can see, I've used plus 16 Solar King Horn. I don't have Essence of Creation to level up these artifacts. And truth to be told, I don't even have a good healing artifact, because mostly I'm using Garius. So I didn't even level up Mirror, but Mirror will work as well. And what we're doing here, we're using a Mona Lisa set, which grants us an extra healing after his ultimate, which scales with his HP. So as you can see, I went full HP on him. 70,000 extra HP. Defense, 2,000. That doesn't matter. But we are healing constantly. And this also helps us. So yeah, to make sure we have different instances of healing, because that's what keeps us alive. And then we move into our enabler, Ice Blast enabler, Sheena. If you don't have Sheena, try Nord with attack speed, and he will do well. Not as good as Sheena, and he will not have Witch's Remain, so you might consider something else. So yeah, Witch's Remain, attack penalty. You can put Crown as well, but expect at least 10-15% damage down, because this is defense penalty 2 instead of defense penalty 1, and she enables it. She applies it really well with her ultimate. Now, Cyril set to boost attack by 15%, and we're building her mainly with attack, but also, since we can put extra crit rate and a little bit of crit damage. And as you can see, I'm not even using a legendary ice positive rune, because I don't have it. That's a thing that on my list that I need to improve. Then we have a buffer, Bladden. His job here is to apply this 20% attack and give crystals. As well as doing quite a good damage, because he's got way too much crit rate. You only should have 80%, but since the equipment I have left is going over that crit, and it's an inventor's inspiration, that's why I stick with, right? Ideally, you want to have a good gloves with crit damage on him and huge crit rate. Sadly, I don't have them, but yeah, that's the ideal. If you don't have downpipe organ, don't worry about it. I'm only using it really for the 60% attack here, because no one benefits from this. I mean, 10% attack for for Quarion, and Sheena does nothing. Sheena is not here to do damage. It's better if you put a Manticore on him. Eye on him, or Horseshoe as well, to give extra crit damage, which I could have done, but I didn't invest into Horseshoe, not enough Essence of Creation, because I have better artifacts than that. And this is my main account, not the test server. So our main damage dealer, Gerfin, with Manticore, which boosts the damage from battle skills, and she will be casting her battle skill constantly, which again gives us a 20% crit rate. So we're aiming for 80% crit rate plus huge crit damage. It's a little bit lower than my Vortex team, I don't know why. Probably mixed equipment too much. I'll probably should load that Vortex equipment, but yeah, also a little bit extra HP because we don't want them to die from 2 orbs. We want them to survive at least 2 orbs, right? And execution, that's season 1. Inventors set here to have this 32% damage bonus constantly. So yeah, this is the first team. This is the Ice Blast team against Alton. Moving on to the second team against Talwer. There were 2 choices. I had to make one choice. So I could either go Dauntless with Farival and Vani, but that would mean I'll need to invest basically into like 2 new heroes. With those setup that I got here, I had only to get Manda. I have Nissa, but Nissa is not scroll and I didn't take a risk. I knew with Manda I'll still be able to get over 22 million damage. And it was worth it. I mean, I used Manda in Ancient Battlefield as well. So let's look at the formation and the castings. So if you remember my videos against Talwer, I was actually putting Vikik next to Troll, but there's a better way, and this is the way basically you put tank here. So Irzillas Talwer comes down and the tank runs to the Talwer and the Shroom only hits the tank. So yeah, that's the best one. No one else gets interrupted, no one else gets taunted and whatsoever. I'm not even building resistance on the tank, but I'll go over that soon. And basically this is the placement that you should do. And when it comes to the timing, look at the skills. The only thing that we really care is using this Voodoo Conjuration, which is an ultimate every 12 and 22 seconds. There's a 10-second interval, but I'm not even building him with accuracy, and it works. I mean, my free buff is full tank. Okay, he's full tank. He has to survive 5 minutes so I can do most of the damage. And since Thunderbolt doesn't have anyone else to deal good damage, we went with Manda, and she's on default. She can cast this ultimate whenever, because this will help her. This will proc her set as well, which I'll talk over in a minute. Vikuk, we cast him just after Talwer's ultimate, because this is the one where we can dispel and get an extra healing from the amount of the debuffs that are on our tank. This is why we don't really care about resistance. We want extra healing through that. And yeah, Percunte, just whenever he's available, he can cast it, because the turrets that she spawns will help with these stacks. So that's the timing. Let's go and look at the equipment. Okay, so we start with the tank. As I said, I'm not going for accuracy, I'm not going for resistance, it's just whatever is on the pieces. The tank survives 5 minutes, and that's what matter. It all comes down to our damage dealers, which sadly is only Percunte. So Scarab Amulet, one of the best tank, pure tank artifacts, especially if you're going for defense. The shield is life-changing. Again, Ancestor Protector set. Basically what I do is, as you can see, I pretty much just swap the same set on all the tanks through all this content, basically. The only thing that differs is the runes, because obviously they are different element. So we're focusing on defense pieces here, where we can get the main stats and sub-stats with defense percentage where we can, and HP percentage. Percentage stats at this stage are the best. Now, when we move to our support, which is Vikik, we're using this set here, basically with accuracy as well. This grants us extra accuracy, and I'm using haste on him as well, so I can cast this more often, basically constantly, being able to apply this buff. As you can see, 8.6 second cast complete recharge time on attack penalty. So that's my another attack penalty. I don't need to worry about fur buffs. I could bring in Horus. Helps us with the damage overall. As you can see, still purple runes, something to improve coming into the next week. Then we go Manda. So Manda has an extra healing set. She doesn't really need anything else, and she's using Rift Hourglass. But if you don't have Rift Hourglass, Incest Burner also works. But Hourglass is a little bit better because she works on the battle skill as well as the ultimate skill. So this is what we want. We want to have this, and obviously accuracy as well, so the turrets can apply electrocuted. So stat-wise, she doesn't really need anything, but still solid attack. We don't build her with crit and crit damage. Moving on to our main debuffer, and again, this set, we could easily change it because Vikuk is constantly applying it, but this helps us with accuracy, which I am way over, which means I can easily replace something. Remember, when I was doing these fights, I didn't have affinity yet. Okay, so I had to have 280 accuracy. Now I can remove it, I can downscale because I have an extra 50 accuracy in this element. So yeah, she is here to apply Witch's Remain. She has multi-hit on her ultimate, so that really helps. And again, when she does that, she helps with this set. But next week, I'm changing it definitely. I don't need that much accuracy, and Vikuk will be constantly applying this attack up buff for me, so I can go more offensive on Iola and just maintaining that accuracy. And then we have Parakunto. So yeah, Parakunto is here, fortunate enough to get his exclusive artifact, my first exclusive hero and my first exclusive artifact. Inventor said here to dish out as much damage as possible, 100% crit rate, 270% crit damage. This is huge. On top of that, 4,500 attack. This dude does a lot of damage. Sadly, there's no one else in the Thunderbolt team that can help him with the damage, so we're stuck with mainly one damage dealer here and 3 supports and a tank. So that's why next week Iola is going to do more damage, and hopefully I'll be over 30 million. Now let's move on to the next team. Next team is my wild team. I was in quite a pickle here. First I leveled up Burn team and I thought they're gonna do great, and they didn't. I used Ascetius and my damage was at 9 million, not even 11 million, 9 million. So I had to try different approach, and first I tried, you know, running without Ascetius, and I got to like 13 million. Okay, that's good. Then 16 million, that's alright, but I changed to wild team and I got to 22 million straight away. My tank died, so I spoke with my friends and they told me use Questetia, and I told them, yeah, but my Questetia will not have skills because I don't have scrolls. And they said, don't worry, and they were right. Questetia, even without scrolls, is amazing. So let's go over the formation and the skill timings. In this team again, we're only gonna use one melee, which will be a tank, so we will avoid as much damage as possible for the backline. So again, we need a very strong tank, and Questetia is one of them. Let's go over the skill timing, and as you can see, default on Questetia, because she applies multiple debuffs and recharge speed penalty on her battle skill, so we can't really time well, as well as we're gonna use Adolphus basically whenever. Okay, we want him to constantly apply this shields and heals, and this will really help survive. As long as the tank survives 5 minutes, we can dish out the damage. And rotation, Felicity, she's the one applying defense penalty on the boss, so Witch's Remain. We follow her. Obviously, the first rotation is a 12-second. We could probably do it earlier, but the 12-second on our other damage dealers does not allow us to do that. We then follow with Meteor Rain of Eric, and we use Neda to Sunburst, which is a huge multiplier. And again, I was so focused on the free-to-play content that I forgot I got heroes like Rush who can do more damage than Neda, but that's it, that's fine. Rush has no scrolls, so I can't really level him up. But yeah, this is the very good timing, and I mean, after that, we don't really care when they cast the skills, because with Felicity, she will be spamming this ultimate pretty constant, especially with the equipment I got on her. Let's go over the equipment quickly. So yeah, Questetia, level 1 skills. Yeah, sorry, I misspoke. She doesn't apply the recharge speed penalty through her battle skill. It's coming from her passive, okay, which is amazing, but still requires accuracy. And I've put to basically reduce the cooldown on all of these attacks, I've put Rift Hourglass on her. If you don't have that, put Incest Burner as well, works. And she's got the serial set, so whenever she applies a debuff, even through the passive, we're getting the bonus attack up on our heroes. And defensive stats, huge HP, 100,000, and only 2,500, well, 2.7k defense, but it helps. I mean, I went for hybrid here because this is what worked best on Irzillas here. If I went full defense, she died earlier, and we need to keep her alive. Now our support is Adolphus, shield artifact, 50% more shield, enlightenment. So he scales with enlightenment, we build him with enlightenment. And we also use Monli's set to put extra heal in there. And Liko works here as well, but if you want to look into more formations, just watch my Irzillas video, there's over 10 there. So yeah, he also grants an increased ultimate energy to an ally, which is amazing, plus a shield. And if someone has a shield, he heals them. And we're going for a haste as well, because we want this to be cast as often as possible. We're not delaying it, we want to be cast whenever and as soon as. Moving on to our defense down, which is a Felicity here, using the Inventor's set with a lot of crit. Look at this. This is a 91% crit rate, not 100%, but 91. A little bit low crit damage, but that's because we need to go for accuracy. And the set that I wear is not optimal. We use the more crit damage oriented equipment elsewhere, which will be our main damage dealer, Eric. Eric will use Manticore statue. We could go with Eyeball of the Giant as well to boost this, but he does a lot of damage here, especially against a single target. So yeah, definitely something good. And then we have Neda. Neda is using Downpipe Organ, but we can also use Eyeball of the Giant if we don't want to, or if you don't have it. But this helps everyone else. I mean, this gives 10% of her attack to both Eric and Felicity, and they do a lot of damage together. So huge scaling on the battle, on the ultimate, still a very good scaling on her battle skill, and yeah, very good rare hero. I mean, very cheap to level up and definitely can improve your damage. And the last hero on the list, Journ. I believe this is one of the hardest. I think him and Losenia are definitely in the top. And I've managed to do 26 million. My best rate was 27, and I didn't save because I thought I'm gonna get more, but I couldn't. Okay, quite hard. It's really hard to do damage here with our Rose. I think she's really key because of her kit. But before we talk about that, let's go and see the formation. So this is the placement we use on Journ, basically making Sagomir and Jillian tank the ultimate and no one taking damage from the battle skill. The timings are not that important, however, we still use them. As you can see, since Jillian and Sagomir will be taking damage from the ultimate, that means the boss will be stealing their ultimate points as well. So it's really hard to time them, so we'll just go over on auto. If you want to min-max, you can play it manually, but that's not how I like playing this game. I like to make a team, perfect it, and put it on auto. And this is the team that managed to do so. So then we have a Rose that will apply attack penalty and also heal. This heal is amazing. It's a burst heal, keeping Sagomir alive. He's not dying. The fight lasts 5 minutes. It's only comes down to the damage we can dish out. Now, the issue is I'm only at 18.7 complete recharge time, but I still put 18 here because we can get extra from Sagomir sometimes. It doesn't work like that. It's actually a little bit complex, but yeah. But it helps, and it basically means that we'll start casting it randomly eventually, because everything else will be out of sync because of how Journ's ultimate work. Now we have Taflin to enable Hubert with Rally, but not only through this ultimate here, but also through his basic attacks. Every 6 basic attack he gives a Rally to Rally hero, which means if we get him to 1 second, he will apply it every 6 seconds, which is amazing. And Hubert obviously is dealing a lot of damage. So this is the casting. His ultimate also grants 20% attack up before Hubert casts his, and following the same recharge time here. So let's look at the equipment. Let's start with the tank, Sagomir, Hourglass. As I said, we are getting this energy stolen from us, 25% I believe, so we want an extra haste, and we'll be casting that constantly. I mean, also we want accuracy, and since this is the team that I have affinity for, there is an extra 50 accuracy, so 232 is enough, which gets us over the 280 required. And we use in serial set as well to boost our attack up whenever he casts an ultimate. I mean, team survives for the 5 minutes, so we're only looking for increase of damage whenever we can. Then we go to the support, which will be Jillian, using a healing set, and based on enlightenment and HP, again, we want a higher HP to boost the set's healing. And Gary's staff as well. I mean, we're using 3 heroes that can heal, because Sagomir can heal a little bit as well, so whatever there's an overheal, we want a shield. So you see, this staff is not going to be wasted. You can use her. You can use that staff elsewhere as well. The core of the team, Rose. Okay, Rose is the core of the team. She applies attack penalty, burst healing. She applies recharge speed penalty as well, which is something that is really important at these bosses. We build her mostly on attack and accuracy and enlightenment. We want an extra enlightenment to make sure she has extra stacks. And as you can see, I'm actually a little bit below accuracy, but since there is so many hits, this is applied constantly. And something to actually look into is increasing maybe her damage. We'll see about that. But she's not here to deal damage, really. She's here to heal. And yeah, since it works, why change it? The damage is still solid. Now we move on to our enabler, Taflin. As I said, you could run him, and that's what I've done on the test server as well, with the pipes to increase Huberg's damage as well as Ross's attack. But in this case, I went with this attack speed here to make sure Huberg always have that rally, as there's only 2 damage dealers in this team, and Inventor set as well, because they will have constantly, they will have that buff constant. And yeah, he's quite cool. I mean, this is every 6 basic attack he grants a rally, and we have minus 0.62. Mainly thanks to that, but if you were lucky and you found good attack speed runes, you can even reduce it further. And Huberg, our main damage dealer, I'm using Inventor set on him to boost his damage. Eyeball of the Giant, I could purchase the legendary artifact, but I don't have essence to level it up. And crit rate at 100%, quite low crit damage. That's because, as I said, I don't have good equipment pieces to replace that, but 26 million is enough. And 22 is what we need really in Otherworld Exploration. And that covers the 4 teams, and I'm not sure if everyone done the damage on my server yet, but this is 1 day left and I am on rank 8, and I can see already few of the whales ahead of me. Look at the Eureka. Eureka was at rank 1 on season 1 on my server, so unless he's got another try, I am very close to him, so I'm really happy with my score. And you can see another content creator, Hype Pseudo, here with 47,000. So yeah, really happy with what I achieved this week. Next week, I'll need to add Shine Ashton to the team, and I'm already testing him, and I found few cool teams and few cool tricks as well. So make sure you tune in and tell me, guys, how you've done on your 2nd week, or maybe 1st week if you're just started this Continental Challenge, and what teams you used and how many points plus damage you've done. It's interesting to share that knowledge so I can build stronger teams and you can build stronger teams as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please click the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. As always, thank you for watching. Stay safe. Bye!